Hello and welcome. Let's begin with our virtual housekeeping. Mute your mic when you're not speaking. Please have your video turned on at all times. If you want to be anonymous and keep your video off, you're more than welcome to do so. Please use your headset if possible, especially if you're in a crowded and noisy area. To ask a question, use raise hand button. Usually you will find this button on your Zoom control bar. Alternatively, you can use the chat box and ask your question as well. For high resolution of this video stream on Zoom, use the switch to shared content button on top left of your screen. With the experience that we had with Zoom, the legibility of text presented in the presentation is much clearer on a screen size of 12 inch or above. So we will appreciate to use, if you use the 12 inch or above screen size for a legible text which you would be able to read through. Hello and welcome to you all. My name is Vishal and we are beginning our book club for the Association for Proposal Management Professionals. This is session number 3. We will get into it very quickly. So in our last sessions we identified the requirement of a bid and proposal management professional. Now there are certain certifications. If you are interested in those certifications and if you are looking for those certifications and you are a bid and proposal management professional who is involved in bidding or in very layman terms in quotations and tenders, this is the place where you should be enhancing your knowledge, should be looking at the best practices by which you can enhance your knowledge, and of course be a cross-functional bid manager who can not only function, let's say, in one particular domain of industry. You can maybe transition as a product manager into a technical manager as well. So this is the place where you should be getting your certifications, understanding the whole business, how it runs, and what all the thought process that goes into the building up such kind of businesses or such kind of bid and proposals into the organization. So that's what we are learning at this very moment. And if you're interested in the certifications, please go to our episode session number 1 and session number 2. It's very much available on our YouTube channel. And it's available on my LinkedIn. If you're connected to me on LinkedIn, it's on LinkedIn as well. If you're connected to me on Facebook, it's on Facebook as well. You can be there. For people who are on YouTube, are on Zoom at the moment, I will share the YouTube channel as well, wherein we are live streaming this. And where all the, here we go, it's there on the chat box. Similarly, it's being put on to the LinkedIn and the other social media as well. So you all are welcome today. So last time we are in the development cycle. We just started last time, and we are in introduction to business development lifecycle. So we are talking about the life cycle of a business development. How does an organization, if a company is setting up their business, what the thought process goes, what are the best practices, should they be diligent, should they be somebody one day you just wake up one morning and you start doing certain things your way. How the organization should be moving. Organization is not your brick and mortar which builds your structure of your office. It's not the chairs and the tables out there. It's the people who are there, and these people, in order to make them work towards one goal, there has to be a written document perhaps, or there has to be best practices written out there. There is wherein the APMP would come into picture as far as the bid and management proposals, bid and proposal management people are concerned. Okay, give me just one moment. I have some questions coming through. Let me just type that as well. Okay, so as we speak, I'm interacting with our colleagues and our attendees on YouTube, Facebook, and on WhatsApp as well. And we are trying to give as much as attention to everybody and reply their questions as well. So we were in the bid cycle, introduction to the business development life cycle. So first we talked about, so these are the 7 knowledge areas overall in the APMP. We are at the moment in the understanding business development. Now, the way this is listed, though there is no logical sequence to it, or you might find that there is some certain logical sequence to it, wherein how you develop your whole organization and your bid and proposal process. Okay, so you understand the business development, then you focus on the customer, lead your team towards a common goal, then you manage processes. Okay, so the whole organization runs around a process. So these processes needs to be managed. People who are executing some work, they have been given an input, they need to give an output in a certain way, certain manner, and in certain format. All these things that will be talked about in that section. And then we will talk about the tools and the systems that are available and prescribed by APMP. They don't give you any software, but they give you tools and systems how you can do that. Then you create the deliverables. In other words, in very layman terms or in a very loose language, submit a tender. And then, of course, there will be some findings, some learnings. All this will be going back into your training, your staff. So we started in the introduction to the business development life cycle last time. And there are these 8 steps in doing so. Market identification. So an organization would first, be it a new organization or an organization who is ramping up their process, or maybe they are adding. Up until today they were only selling, let's say they were only selling box softwares. For example, let's take an example of Microsoft Windows. Okay, so they used to retail Windows software only. Now they want to add a service onto their portfolio, the business portfolio. So what steps they will be doing it? They will be identifying the market. Okay, they need to identify in market where what kind of competition is out there already. In terms of fire industry, let's say there is an organization who is already, because this book club is for fire industry. I need to give an example of fire industry as well. So let's say there's a fire company who up until today is only venturing into doing fire systems. They are very good at doing fire systems, but they see in one section of the building services, fire industry, wherein they're talking about a built environment. In the built environment, there is one section which is also about ICT, which is also about structured cabling, which is also about other systems, for example, BMS, for example, security system, for example, video, CCTV, and all these kind of systems out there. So if they want to wrap themselves up into these industry or these segments, they need to identify the market. Then they will do accounting, planning, and positioning. They will see accounting does not mean your numbers, how much money is going. Accounting as well means what kind of people you will be targeting, okay, planning them, and then positioning yourself to them. Maybe there is an organization in the market already who has a very good relation with an XYZ company who is doing very good CCTV systems, and they are very happy with them. But they are not aware up until today that there is a new technology that has come which would be reducing the size of their storage. As a result, they will bring down this the storage capacity. So when you go over there, you plan and you position yourself over there with this new client. You upsell your product. Maybe you already giving in fire systems over there. So that's what we were talking about. That is what we do in that step. And then you talk about opportunity assessments. When you start positioning yourself, you start getting opportunities. Okay, you will see. Okay, where at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to win a tender or a bid, even a normal quotation. We want to win them. Okay, Pratish says cross-selling. Yes, cross-selling also goes through this market identification process as well. So you will do an opportunity assessment. Should you put your resources into bidding into this product? For example, you have a big tender coming up from a government entity, and in this government entity they have asked for certain equipments where you do not qualify as a vendor, as a contractor, or as a system integrator. Okay, let's take example of software industry. You do not have those developers who have these competency. So how do you qualify for them, and how do you, even if you want to qualify for them, this would be a management decision which is pretty much allowed by APMP. They're not saying it's not right. They're saying, yeah, you need to win, but you need to have a strategy to win. Even if you don't have those developers with you, so how are you going to win them? So there will be a strategy build up, and you qualify yourself, you identify yourself, and that's how you do your opportunity assessment. Then opportunity capture and planning. We will see that when it comes. Your proposal planning. Now you've made up your mind. You have captured all the information. You've made up your mind in step number 5. You will do the proposal planning, and you start giving the proposal out. Let me just glance over the other windows. Yeah, we have no questions. So proposal development. Then you do your proposal development. How you're going to present it to the prospective customer. What are their hot buttons? We saw these definitions last time. How you build your business case. We saw these definitions last time. And if you have by chance missed it, please go into our YouTube channel or onto my LinkedIn page, and you can go through the last sessions as well. Then you negotiate. Now on you've done a proposal development, you submitted, you negotiate and post-submittal activity. Once you have submitted, what all the post-submittal activity would be there. There will be questions coming from your vendors. Not your vendors, from your prospective client. They will come and ask you, okay, hey, we understand you have actually done a very good job. You have understood our hot buttons. You have understood our problems, and it seems that you are taking care of our problems. You will be giving us a very good solution. But how do you do X, Y, and Z? Okay, so those kind of clarification, substantiation, perhaps they will be asking you. If it's a complete technical bid where you're trying to bid yourself to a very stringent, let's say, a material of construction kind of details, it's going to be very easy. So you can refer in fire industry, or for that matter, build environment. You have codes with you which you can refer and say, hey, these are the standards which we're going to follow, and this is my substantiation for how I'm going to solve your problem. So those kind of substantiation goes into a discussion with the client. And of course, once you have delivered, then the cycle does not end over there. It's a business development. You want repeat orders. So you do an ongoing customer relationship, and you keep going on and doing the same thing time and again. So last time we saw this this progression. You can see we talked about this what these group of people are doing over here, and we had a question in our quiz as well. What all would be involved in this? Okay, give me just 1 second. Let me just pull out my laser, the electronic laser, and so that we can. So what we are talking about is as an organization who is new into a market, they start from an unknown position, okay, where nobody knows them. So, for example, whenever Xerox started, nobody knew them. Okay, then they started selling the solution of copying, photocopying. That's the word. Xerox is not the word. But today, when I say get me a Xerox, and you would see in most of the areas, and especially in India, there used to be a yellow kind of a board out there with black pen written Xerox. So when they talk Xerox, you know what it is doing. So they are in the favored position. So their machines were in favored position because they could resell their machines to other. So they came from their solution, and their product came from an unknown position. They came into a known position. They improved themselves, and then they came into a favored positions. That's how they came into a brand value. They have repeat button. They have repeat orders, and they are addressing a problem of the customer, wherein a customer, if they want to give a copy of their handwritten notes to somebody else, they had to maybe use a carbon paper in between their notebook from people not from this millennia and an older millennia, born before, let's say, 90s and 80s, before 2000. There used to be still it is used in the colleges and all. There would be a carbon paper between the main slip, and on a ballpoint pen you will write onto it. You will get a carbon copy, a same copy on a paper below. So Xerox was doing that. It was doing photocopying of the content. So that's where it's the favored position that comes into. We saw these definitions last time. We saw and we studied about them, and we saw these definitions as well, hot buttons and business case studies. Now, when a business development, it's in a continual ongoing process. It's today you sit down and you say, okay, I will develop my business. It's a foundation process, and it has proven core tools and best practices, which is a very good starting point for any organization who is starting. And it's a very disciplined approach to develop the business. And it is required that the organization follows the process. Okay, so it's APMP is not saying that you need to follow the business development cycle of what the APMP book of knowledge is saying. No, you need to make it work as per your own environment. You know your people well. You know what kind of process will work. I've seen in organizations where they will be having scores of capture forms for the business development executives. They would be required to even capture the information to the ground level of the PN that is working in the office, the supporting staff over there. So it's so much detail. So you need to find out how much you're going to use this information. Okay, so that's a part of business development as well. I mean, you need to know in and out of your customer, who is at the topmost level, who are the decision makers, who are the influence makers as well. At times you don't have people who directly influence, but there are people who indirectly do a lot of things for you and get your solution perhaps approved. So it's a very disciplined approach. It's not a loose approach, but of course made up to your organization. Now this is one of the illustrations, and it's a very important one, wherein you see the whole life cycle. Okay, you have an opportunity, and you identify your market, you plan your accounts. Okay, in your market identification, you see that certain segment of organization customers, if you latch on them, you would be having repeat orders, and they are the major consumers of the product that you want to sell or the services that you want to sell. So you plan your account planning goes that way. Then you do your assessment, opportunity assessment. When these opportunities starts coming from them, then to win those opportunities, of course, you need to bid for that. That is the whole cycle that we are talking about. And each phase, these are the phases. Each phase has a decision gates. Now these decision gates are nothing else, but it's the more or less like if I put it into one word, it's like your approval from in the hierarchy of your organization. So it's you want to make sure that you win the highest probable bid. So you want to put your energy onto it, so that your organization, it sounds very impractical or pragmatic for that matter, especially for the organization who has only one bid manager, and he's controlling the whole quotations as well, and of course the bids as well, and of course maybe other stuff as well onto him. But for organizations that have over the time developed into this practice of decision making, they have more success rate in their bids. They have more success rate in converting an opportunity into a win, into an execution, and into a realization of funds as well. So these are the decision gates. So the decision gates can be your bid no bid decision, how you do that, by bid valuation decision, your business case review from your senior. These are the decision gates. We will see these tools afterwards as well, wherein throughout the progression of your opportunity, what you keep doing. Okay, and at the last you can see your proposal development. You have the submittal, and then you do the negotiation, and then you delivery, do your ongoing customer relationship, and at times in this stage, in the negotiation stage and proposal development stage, you upsell also. Okay, that's also there is a term for that in APMP. We will use that term when we come to it. Okay, so let's go into the further detail into this. Okay, so that's those are the phases: market identification, account planning. I think we have discussed it a lot. We'll quickly move to the next slide, and we will go into market identification. Now on your right hand side, you can see this guy has identified his market very well. He knows what he wants to sell. He's selling spices, and he has done his identification. Okay, so, and on your left hand side, you would see this is your existing situation, and this is where you want to lead yourself. Okay, that's the purpose, and these are the quadrants. In each quadrant has their own life journey and benefits, and so on and so forth. So when you start, when you are in existing, you want your market expansion. If you want a market expansion, you go this way. So let's see what happens if you are in sector number 1. Okay, you have similar products or services similar to similar market. Okay, so what you're doing is you're just seeing what your competitor is doing, as simple as that, in that quadrant. So you're seeing that you're more or less mirroring yourself what your competitor is doing. You're more focused on your competitor, because that's a tried and tested trusted way of earning money. You simply go by that. Okay, so the pursuit indication is very strong. You will be pursuing it very strongly in the beginning, and your early action is mostly focused on your competitors. Now in this quadrant itself, okay, number 2 is your similar products or services or customers. Okay, you would be moderately, your pursuit would be moderate. Okay, and you will be learning, because you want to expand the market into the market. You will be learning a lot, and you will be establishing your presence. So a lot of marketing will be going in here, and you will be expanding yourself. You will have on-field staff, marketing team who will be going on to the field, and they will be exploring people, telling about your product, what is my product, and so on and so forth. Now quadrant number 3 is where you'll have your pursuit indication would be moderate again. Okay, but what you will be doing is you have a product with yourself already. You will just keep verifying with the customer's requirement, and this is the way where it more easy peasy way, if I may say. But if you go into the quadrant number 4, okay, the pursuit indication is very low. Okay, and you will be spending a lot of resources in here. Okay, because you're learning from because you want to expand your product and your services, you're learning from the customers, you're investing money, a lot of R&D is going in there, and you're committing resources to do such kind of work. So that's the whole market identification phases as for APMP. Okay, we go to, let's see the next part. Then is your account planning and positioning. Now you can see this guy he's positioning himself where he wants to invest his money, from which account. An account does not necessarily means is the account as far as the finance account is concerned. It's your customers, it's your it can be a customer, it can be also a segment, okay, as your account. Okay, so that's the whole idea in here for the account as well. So we will see into details about these. More or less we have covered this already. Now your opportunity assessment, and there are certain questions that you would be since you want to expand yourself, okay, and since you want to establish yourself, there are particular questions that you will be asking. That is there an incumbent on this opportunity? Okay, somebody is already there or not? Okay, what is the incumbent's performance? How they have been performing? Who are the known competitors? There will be others as well, right? Who are the known competitors? Are there possible unknown competitors? There might be some hidden ones which are taking very small orders, perhaps. How can we win? Can we win? Can we deliver with profitability? Do we need to team with another organization? Now these are your opportunity assessments. You're assessing your the opportunity. What will cost us to bid? Putting up a bid to the customer, it costs you. It's not putting up a quotation is not free. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes a lot of calculation. It takes a lot of market identification. It's said later in the APMP book that, ideally speaking, when your bid starts from the day the customer has the idea of building something, or for that matter, to have a service, from that day onwards your bid starts, and from there your marketing cycle starts as well. Okay, with bidding this opportunity better position us for future opportunities. Maybe this, when you bid for it and you win or you don't win, will it give you better prospect in the coming future? And does this opportunity fit within our strategic plan and vision? That's very important. At times, organization, when they are not hitting targets, they are not bidding projects enough, they're not winning that, the organizations, they start drifting away from their strategic plan and visions. And what happens is they start frustrating their bid and proposal team, okay, and it starts building up unnecessary quotations and bids and all, which either ways would not be in the strategic plan, but an opportunity it presented itself, so they just want to get in, take a dive, and let's see if it wins. If we win, good, fine enough. If we don't, then of course it was never meant for us. Okay, so we'll go with this. We come to top of the hour, and we don't have the quiz today because we have not covered much in this cycle. We will do the quiz next time. Okay, with this, any questions from the audience? If you feel like, you can unmute yourself. People on Zoom, you can unmute yourself and chime in. People on WhatsApp, or not WhatsApp, my bad, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, feel free to chime in. I will give a couple of seconds. Okay, I think we are good. We will take this next week. You have been an awesome audience, and thank you for joining in today. Thank you, Pratish, for your feedback and your your participation today as well. You have been an awesome audience. See you next week. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.